So today's class we will discuss about your polity. But first, one thing's let's say if you're going to clear UPSC, there are certain things called as core subjects. Your core subjects are your polity, history, geography, economy. Why I'm telling this as core subjects means this subjects will come in your prelims, mains, interview. Now there are certain subjects like your world history, post-independence India, your let's say social issues, security issues, ethics, optionals. These come largely only in your mains. Interview ka focus will be on these, plus additionally they will ask you on topics such as governance, understanding. So something about your internal challenges. So these are the subjects additionally which will come only in certain phases. But the core subjects what I mentioned will be there in all three. Prelims, mains and interview. Questions will follow in all of these. Now one such core subject is your polity. First and foremost, I'll clear some myths about your polity. People have this assumption that I have to by heart all the articles. There is something called as articles. Many people would have known that, or some people have seen that. They'll think there is 425 articles means I have to by heart all articles. Then I will be able to clear UPSC. I'll give you one simple example. The standard book for your polity is Laxmikanth. If I end up giving Laxmikanth book to you and sending you inside prelims, mains and interview, you will still not clear it if you don't know what the subject is. Understanding? And one more thing about your UPSC exam is, see, you have finished graduation or you're pursuing graduation, whichever the case be it. If you see, usually the questions are asked from the books. But only in UPSC, books are made based on the question papers. Your polity Laxmikanth was not made, and it is not like UPSC asks question from Laxmikanth. Based on UPSC question paper, Laxmikanth makes a book. Understanding? So the books are made based on question papers. Many times people come to me telling, ma'am, I studied entire Laxmikanth, questions only didn't come. Yeah, because the person sitting and setting the paper is not making it from Laxmikanth. Understanding? It is one of the books in order to make sure your basics are strong, your core is strong. It will help you write answers. It will help you answer questions. But that is not where questions are picked. Next thing. So if anyone's assumption is, should I have to by heart all the articles? If I just by heart this book, will I be able to clear prelims, mains, interview? No. You have to understand the subject. You have to understand the subject means your Laxmikanth provides something called as static. Your current affair classes will happen. They will provide something called as current affair. The UPSC questions will not come telling this is a static question, this is a current affair question. They will mix it and ask. You won't know whether that is a static question or a current affair question. How will you understand that is through your classes. Because your classes are conducted in the same exam pattern way that is asked. Mixing of the topic in static as well as current affair. Understanding? Your class notes will form the most crucial important aspect. First thing. Second thing. Any assumptions with respect to polity such as, how about if I just by heart some current affairs? Will I clear prelims? No. I'm not telling you all this if you do, you will clear or you will not clear prelims. Do the right way of preparation. This is your first class, so I'm telling you this. For polity, there is one dedicated way to prepare. That is, simple thing I always tell in all the classes. Know the rules before you start playing the game. Cricket has a bat and a ball. Hockey has a bat and a ball. You can't go to a cricket game and start playing hockey. Right? And one more thing is polity. Whatever you read, Same thing law students will read. But what they read is to make a profession out of that, out of this. For you, UPSC is like a meals. You've seen meals, North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, all that is up to you. But you see various items on one plate, that is the concept of meals. That is what UPSC is. You need to know about all these subjects in little bit quantity. That's all is the role of polity. Don't overdo polity, don't underdo polity. Sometimes, let's say one of the most important cases in polity is, let's say Keshwanand Bharti case. There is a different way about how you approach Keshwanand Bharti case as a law student and as a UPSC aspirant. Law student has to go into detail as to what is Keshwanand Bharti case, why did they do that Keshwanand Bharti case, what are the precedents, all those in-depth analysis they have to do. All you have to learn is Keshwanand Bharti case resulted in the formation of basic structure. Like this, we will see many cases. Understanding? We will see your Justice Puttaswamy case. We will see with respect to your SR Bommai case. We will not enter into why was this case brought in, who was the opponent, who was the litigant, government was on which side, opposing side was on which side. None of those we need. Federalism is a part of basic structure. SR Bommai case, done. Minerva Mills case, what did they tell? That's it, done. Not more than that, because you're not trying to become a law aspirant. You're not trying to write LLB and go use that case to argue in front of the judge. You just need to know, okay, there are 3 forms of government in our country. Which works how? Understanding that much of polity is what you need. That is why I'm telling you have to know the right way of preparation, which is not to overdo it nor underdo it. Just the right amount, like a thali. Everything in little quantities. No one requires, see, it is said in a simpler manner if I have to put it to you. Your GS papers are like as if you have to have a graduation level knowledge of it. Your optional papers are such that you have to have master's level knowledge of it. What sometimes ends up happening is you end up mixing everything. Certain topics you will go to mastery level topics. Certain topics where mastery is needed, you just come to basic level topics. No, stick to same base. Understanding? That should be your first key base in polity. Second thing about polity is, like I said, anything and every case the judiciary will discuss does not become a matter of concern for you. Every single case that judiciary discusses becomes a matter of concern for a law student, not for a UPSC aspirant. Anything that has brought a change or let's say a significant landmark judgment which affects the structure of legislature, executive, judiciary, that only is important to you. Understanding? Nothing more, nothing less. If we have to start polity, the basics will be your NCERTs. People ask old NCERT, new NCERT, doesn't matter actually from polity perspective. If you see old NCERT also, it will tell we got independence 1947 only. If you see new NCERT also, it will tell we got independence 1947 only. Polity is a topic where we are setting the base. That base doesn't change if you read 10 years old book or 15 years old book or present day book. So it is up to you. You want to pick old one, new one, you do it. Next, in advanced books, if you see, that is after NCERT is what you're supposed to do means, you have 2 options. You have Laxmikanth, okay, or you have something called D.D. Basu. Most preferred one is Laxmikanth. Again, like I told you in the starting of the class, the books are made based on UPSC papers. The papers are not made based on these books. Next, for current affairs, the institute itself does current affair classes. It will provide you compilation. Okay. Apart from all these aside, in the class what happens? It is a culmination of static and current affairs. Understanding? And when we discuss topics, at the end of that particular topic, we will discuss prelims wide questions also. And how to write answer writing also will be done from first day of class only. It is not like after you finish prelims, Whether you're doubtful you will clear prelims or not, as time you take mains, answer writing is not correct approach. It will happen integrated with the subject and syllabus itself. Understanding? So NCERT basis is up to you, whichever one you want to pick. Which standard say you want to pick? See, here is where things gets difficult to make students understand, is because it's a small fact. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. This is the NCERTs for polity. 12th is more for your IR world history. There it will be useful. So 12th NCERT is not. Now when I tell you this, all these NCERTs are made for 6th standard children, 7th standard children, 8th standard children, like this. It is not made thinking with the objective UPSC aspirants will refer our books. Understanding? Keep that in mind. Why I am telling that is, you will tell, ma'am, do I have to read from 6th standard? I already know enough of it. If you know enough of it, then just go to 10th and 11th. If you feel like, see, you all come from varied educational backgrounds, it is better I start from a basic scratch, means start from 6th NCERT. And don't make a debate or fuss about should I do from 6th or not. It is up to you. Hardly it will take 2 hours. Even if you're like a slow reader, because for 6th NCERT, 6th standard child, you're not going to give 150 pages book. Hardly 45-50 pages it will be. And that too, most of it will be diagrams and Ramu Kaku stories. Because otherwise, if you don't give that, students will get bored. Even they expect commercial elements in books. What to do? So, try to keep your life and preparation as simple as possible. It is already laborious. I'm not telling UPSC is complex. It's actually very simple. Only if you're willing to do the work necessary. Understanding what is that work? Disciplined, dedicated entry into classes. Listen to what the faculty teaches. Write that down. Go home. Revise. That's all. That's all is the golden mantra. But what happens is, apart from this, you end up doing everything. 1 week consistency can be there. 2 week consistency will be there. 3rd week, your motivation, consistency, everything will suffer, because we are not creatures of habit. We can't do same thing. It becomes monotonous. Again, why we expect also commercial elements in life. So if at all you have the objective, when I told you will clear the prelims that way, no, you will clear prelims that way, no. So one simple way I'm telling you to clear prelims is consistency. Let's assume you are a 90% scorer all throughout your graduation, up until your graduation, doesn't matter. Let's say you are barely crossing 35% and going, doesn't matter. UPSC only one thing matters is, your knowledge, your IQ is not going to help you much. Your discipline and dedication is going to help you. Same thing with polity. Polity is a simple subject. All you just need is dedicated revision. Understanding? For this, your IQ or EQ doesn't come into picture. Your hard work comes into picture. Understanding? So, any other questions with regarding to your polity? Books, NCERTs, anything from that front? Anything? Okay. Then we'll start with the basics. Okay. Now, when I say basics, these are like almost very, very basic elements that I will explain in detail here. Advanced classes, when it begins, we don't have to go through the same topics again to explain what those are. All right. So first and foremost, if we are going to speak about polity, one more news you have to know is, polity does not mean political. Okay. Clearly understand, political aspects, polity aspect do not mix. Political is outside your UPSC ambit. Neither can you mention political news, nor is it advised. Unless and until wherever necessary, when we tell, that's all it should stop. Second thing is, no matter which party affiliations you have, keep it to your personal level, don't bring it to subject level. Understanding? And at any point of time, your UPSC ka simple logic understand, like I keep telling, know the rules before you start playing the game. Let's say you are associated with a party ka ideology. Don't try to make the polity topic in such a way that why are they doing these things? 1950, say if some topic is there in constitution, Don't you think no one before you is that smart enough to realize why we have kept that component? What I'm trying to tell is, I'm not telling don't question. All I'm trying to tell is, do not become a position where you will show your vulnerability. Vulnerability is where you show your biasness. They do not want biased people. So am I telling that all bureaucrats are non-biased? No, they are excellent statesmen. Meaning what? Whatever my biasness is, I will keep it inside. I will not let the public know what my biasness is. No individual is going to exist 100% impartial. If we are 100% impartial, we are not human beings. That is our basic flaw. We will be partial. But the smart thing is, there are people who will not show it outside. Those are the ones who are ideal fit for bureaucracy. So you, whatever biasness you have, keep it to yourself. Don't make the interviewer or the other person know you are biased towards this particular side. Why they are telling means, let's say their simple assumption would be, let's say this particular person is against a lot of particular things. Simple example, the other day in the class it happened. Reservation. See, reservation is not a good or a bad topic. Polity per se. Political per se, that is different. Your reservation is a concept which is most controversial. Understanding? That is what it is. Your stance also should be that whether you are benefiting from that or not benefiting from that is not your headache. Understanding? Because if you have to fight about it, sitting in UPSC exam is not the right way to fight about it. You go launch your massive media, strikes, rallies, organization, sit in front of UPSC, all those things is acceptable. But if you think I will sit in UPSC exam and I will tell reservation is 100% bad, then why Article 16 of 4 is speaking about reservation? Why the judiciary did not strike out reservation? Why is executive not striking out reservation? Why is legislature not removing it? That doesn't mean I'm telling reservation is good or bad. All I'm telling is it is controversial. You stick to that. How will you speak about reservation? You will mention advantages, you will mention disadvantages. That's it. Don't go and put your emotional, personal thing and tell, I was affected by reservation like this. No one cares. Simple thing is, no one cares. No one is sitting here to do therapy sessions for you. Nor are they wanting people who will relive or remove their childhood trauma in there. They just want to place a person who will remove other problems, not be a problem him or herself. Understanding? So do not mix political and polity. This is golden rule for your polity. This rule applies in all three. When we do mains answer writing, first way we will tell students to write is, see, you can be pro-advantage or pro-disadvantaged. But in a particular answer, you have to give a balanced approach. Which means any topic you are going to speak about has to have pros, has to have cons, and then a way forward. Understanding? In neither of these papers, if you see, you cannot find out that whether this person is pro or against this topic. Same as what they want in interview. They just want to know, are you aware of this topic? Do you know the advantages of this topic? Do you know the disadvantages of this topic? No one is concerned as to what your life trauma has been about this topic. That is therapist's work, not your UPSC panelist work. Understanding? So these are basic things, you have to know it for yourself. Clear? Now we will start with polity basics. Read on subheading, Foundation of Polity. The other day in class, one student asked me, ma'am, I have a doubt. Yeah, go ahead. What is your doubt? Ma'am, is that written in Constitution that only in India a Hindu person can become the Prime Minister and only a Muslim person can become the President or Prime Minister in Pakistan? He said, no, where did you hear about all these things and why will Constitution mention? If anything, I can't speak about Pakistan, but India is a complete secular state. Pakistan has state religion, everything. We are the complete secular state. So the student asked me, ma'am, but there has been no Muslim prime minister. Don't you think then this is correct? So I'm not telling the student was right or wrong in asking these doubts. The narratives of people gets changed because the education present time is not through books for you. The education is through your forward messages, your Instagram reels, and some biased media which tries to put the narrative like, yes, this community is the ruin for this community. That much polarized don't get. See, irrespective of whether you know something is in constitution or not, because you've not read it. That is why you end up thinking that, okay, prime minister has to be from so and so religion. All I'm telling is, do not trust or rely on biased news and biased media much. Whether that things in reality will be true or false, if you're sitting for bureaucracy, trust the sources which we tell. Do not think some fellow is forwarding something and telling that, yes, this is how it is. Don't fall prey to that. That would mean you will make an ideal candidate for gossip sections, newspaper writing sections, but not for UPSC. Understanding? So it's not about telling whether the student was right or wrong, but all I'm trying to tell is how does the media change the narrative of people? Understanding? We also have the concept of biased media in part of our polity syllabus itself. Okay, so know when to understand that news is biased or non-biased. Stay away from biased news. And you yourself don't set up the assumption that India is this kind of country. India is this. If that is the point, then why are they hiring people who want to be neutral, people who should be bipartisan, all these things, why they will try to hire? Right? First topic we'll be seeing is government. I read on a question below that only. What is government? Now you guys tell me, what do you think is government? Yes? What is it? Someone just mumbled something. It's okay, you can raise your voice and tell. What do you think is government? Body that regulates. Good. Then usually this is where your school ka knowledge will come. No one knows what this is, but by the people, for the people, of the people, and all those things. See, in simpler sense, government means it is a particular body, okay, that is there for the welfare of this section. Understanding? Does the government actually do that? That is questionable. But what is government there for? So that the welfare of citizens or people in that state are looked after. Understanding? Now, when we say government, how do you elect that government also becomes important. Let's take from India perspective. One more thing, polity we are discussing means it is Indian polity. Examples we will take of other countries also, but we are primarily focusing only on Indian polity. In India, government is something that is you write down the full form of government. Write this down, then I'll explain what this is. Government means they are elected by popular choice. In India, I'm speaking about popular government is Indian government. Done? To make you understand that, first we have to go to 1 basics. No need to write this down. I'll explain, then you write this. Now, types of government. Before this, I'm not going to yet explain this. I'll explain this, then you will get to know that. Monarchy. One example I'll take is your Britain or your UK. How Britain or UK works means they tell their head of state is a king or a queen. Okay, head of state means the one that is representing Britain or UK will be their king or queen. Below them comes their parliament. Technically, we have always heard king or queen means they hold the maximum power. But in this case, they are namesake or symbolic head. Understanding, they do not have any real power. What is their power? Let's say if it is any state functions, they'll come out wave at people. Yes, they will tell that we have succeeded, this particular queen died, next particular king took over. Only ceremonial positions. Now let's say US president is going to visit, means your UK king or queen will come and receive them. This much only is their power. Real power, this is called as nominal power, which means only symbolic authority. Real power, which means who runs the country, who tells how the particular country should be run, everything is that parliament. Parliament means considered like our MPs and MLAs who are elected by the people. So these people are called as elected representatives. People every day cannot go and take part in decision making. Now if I tell Sunday morning 10 o'clock, all of you come off, we will decide what kind of law we have to make. Most of you will tell Sunday also I have to get up and come. Or some will tell no, I have classes. We can't be involved in daily decision making. So to do that work for us, we will elect some people whose decision or whose entire job it is to do this law making process. These are called as elected representatives. Understanding? This is monarchy in present times. Earlier, how was the monarchy means? King or queen is there. King or queen is only lawmaker, king or queen only is executive, king or queen only will decide what is correct, what is not correct. They don't have to listen to anything that people tell. No elected representatives, no accountability. So people felt like the king is like something called as divine theory of king. Britain, that concept was there. The king is like God. Can God make mistakes? No. Like that only king can't make mistake. That was how they believed. Then is when we understood that no, monarchy as a concept will not work for people because people have no say in the government. So that is when they opted for democracy. Democracy is rule by people. Now in this example I told you, monarchy means here it is a symbolic head, parliament is there, people elected are there. Why are they not called democracy? They are also called democracy, but only their head of state is constitutional monarchy, which means for namesake I have created king or queen, but no monarchy attributes will continue. Everything will be like democracy only. Democracy means what? Rule by people. What is rule by people? I will appoint few people, elect few people. Those people will do the work for me. Ultimate control is in my hands. Reality may or may not be like that, but that is what we believe. So democracy means it is rule by people. Next, theocracy. Have you heard of this country called Iran? Recently, if you pick a newspaper or if you see news, entire news will be surrounding about this country, Iran. Iran is a theocracy. Theocracy means Iran is run by certain religious heads. A religious group is running that country. So technically, let's say in a democracy, we will tell, if people are protesting, you can't go and kill those people. Why? Because it is written in our constitution. Constitution means like a rule book for us. We will run the country based on this manner. But in Iran, they can come up with any new laws and rules. They don't have any predetermined set of constitution which they're giving power to, but they are giving power to religion. Now here the question will come, so is religion telling bad things? So one thing if you have to know about your religion is, no religion spews hatred against anyone. Their version of telling things is different. The way these groups, extremist groups will interpret is different. Understanding? No religion spews hatred against people. But it is the individuals who will try to interpret that in different manner to make sure it works in their favor. So Iran ka theocracy pe, what has happened means people are all protesting against the government. Why they are protesting means there is severe inflation. Inflation means price rise. Let's say there is this common meme that was running in Instagram. If I don't give these examples, you will not understand. Instagram pe one reel told that today in Iran, if you have 83,000 Indian rupees, you are a billionaire, multi-billionaire. Why? Because their currency has fallen that badly. Understanding? So India's 83,000 is worth billions in Iran. So if anyone wants to buy properties, go to Iran, this would be the right time. So what happened is people are protesting against this price rise. They are telling, stop with all this fight with USA. Let us go back to living a normal life. These people are protesting. For this, you know how the government has responded? They have told, anyone who takes part in the protest will be considered as an act against God. That is, you are acting against the decision of God. What is the decision of God? That is what our supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, will tell. Anyone does anything against what the supreme leader tells is an act of God. So which means punishment for doing any act against God is death penalty. Because of this, Iran creates a right that I can kill 15,000 people, 20,000 people, 30,000 people. This is the issue with theocracy. Dictatorship, no need to tell anything. Single man decision, or it is a single party decision. What they tell is right. Okay, somewhere it resembles here, but theocracy is run by religion. Here dictatorship is run by a particular personality. History will give you so many examples of dictators, your Mussolini, your Hitler, all these kind of things. Understanding? In that, one thing I'll tell you about polity, listen to this. There are a lot of such kind of crises, hierarchy, autocracy, feudalism, lot of things are there. But of all the things, we have picked democracy. We means not just India, the entire world tries to move towards democracy. It's not because it is the best solution. It is the least of worst. If I was to write best and worst, we still don't have a best form of governance. Now, democracy is there. Do you think poverty is not there in India? Do you think your women empowerment is completely 100% there in India? Not just in India. Any democracy, there is no solution which is completely cured by democracy. Then why have we picked? It is because, let's say there are 10 forms of governance. The last one is democracy, and all these are worst. It keeps getting more worse and worse. So we pick democracy because it is the least of worst, not because it is the best. If any other alternate viable solution comes to us, then we will pick that. But we don't have anything in the present world. We only have this. So this is what makes us move towards democracy. Right on up until here. China calls itself as democracy. It's not a democracy, but it calls itself democracy. So what we will call that kind of democracy is eyewash democracy or paper democracy. It exists only in paper. Pakistan calls itself as a democracy. North Korea calls itself as democracy. It is clearly a dictatorship, but it calls itself that. What is the harm in calling? If China tells half of India is theirs. So people will call a lot of things. Done? So write down again the question. What is government? Under this write down government plays a fundamental role. Government plays a fundamental role as a decision-making body. Government plays a fundamental role as a decision-making body of a country. Okay. Next line. See, what I'm going to tell you now can serve as your introduction for your mains question. Here it down. Government is a system of social control. Government is a system of social control under which the right to make laws, and enforce them, ENFORCE. Enforce them is given to a particular group, of the society. So this is the definition of what is a government, which can also serve as your introduction for what is government in your mains answer. Done? Listen to this. Now I can tell with surety that India is a democracy. India was not a democracy. India also had monarchy, India had feudalism, India had a lot of different models which is apart from democracy. So when did India decide to become democracy? It was the same question. Done? See, the answer for this is modern India means something that starts after your 18th century. Directly, India has been under British rule for 200 years. Indirectly, we have been under your British influence for 400 years. Finally, so much so that we were fed up, that we kept on asking them for independence. Okay? We kept asking them for independence. That Pura saga will be explained in your history. What happened means 1942. Your Gandhi. Heard of this guy's name? Mahatma Gandhi. For everything, his one simple answer is peace, 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 peace. Any fight you do, he will introduce non-cooperation, but fight it with peace. Civil disobedience, but please fight it with peace. Individual satyagraha, but please fight it with peace. The person who kept telling peace all throughout 1942, he gave a slogan that becomes your hustle culture or all those posters. Do or die. I don't care how we get it. We either fight for freedom or we die trying to get it. For the first time, this is the only place he didn't use the word by peace. Understanding? So what happened is, post this, the British came up with different ways to tell. See, I'll give you everything for you. Within the country, you can take the decision, etc. But only at the center, there will be one Governor General who will still be British. We kept on trying to tell them we don't like any part of British interference in India. Finally, fed up of that, 1946, they sent something called as Cabinet Mission. Cabinet Mission means each time they have to communicate with us, they will send us any mission or commission headed by British people. They said, finally, fine. We don't want India anyway. It's like that, you know, that wolf or fox which will try to keep getting the grapes it doesn't get, so it tells it's sour. Like that, it told, we also don't want India. We just have two conditions. What is that? A, because British told this to India, you have caused so much of economic hardship for us. Give all the money, we'll take and go. So according to the British, in their mentality, we had to pay them to leave India. Second thing is, this is the real reason why they left. They were afraid that Japan was going to attack any point of time. Japan was not attacking India, Japan was attacking British India. So they thought, again, if Japan attacks, if it is still under British control, we have to protect it. Why should we waste our money to protect these people? This is when many people asked, what if after you leave it attacks India, what to do? Their headache, not mine. Fine, India was ready for that also. We said, okay, but we want independence. 1946 Cabinet Mission pe, they said, fine, we will give you independence. Not 47, 46. Before independence was given only, we said, create concept of this thing. What is this thing? Constituent Assembly. What is this Constituent Assembly means? See, our freedom fighters were divided. So much so that I'll tell you, we have something called as Constitution. In that, the very first article that is written is the first article itself is written as India, that is Bharat. Our freedom fighters, everyone said we want independence from British. After we get independence, what kind of country we will create, that they were all divided on. Some people said, how about we will give regional autonomy? Some people said, no, how about we create concept of princely states, which means again going back to before 18th century. So we were divided as to how should we run the country after British leave. To come to an agreement, all of them, see, one thing about these freedom fighters you have to understand is, you and I can sit here and tell Gandhi guy, Nehru guy, all those things. But not one of us would be ready to give our lives for our country. We may tell outside we are hyper patriotic. Today someone comes and tells, I will shoot you, 25 years later your country will be safe. We'll tell 25 years later, no, let it happen something. I'm not going to give my life. But those were the people who gave their life. Understanding their entire lives were spent for freedom struggle. Now, either of those freedom fighters all had a particular objective for the people of India, be it for their particular community, particular people, but they all fought and paid with their life. So all of them should be considered in the decision making. Every single section should be considered. So what they decided was, we need something called Constituent Assembly. This Constituent Assembly will be there to decide and write something called as Constitution of India. This Constitution of India is so important to us that how we will run the country will be written in this book. And whatever this book tells, that is how our country will run. Understanding? No king, queen, or any other new person can change it. This is how they set up. So what happened? This Constituent Assembly had to be set up. We have been asking that from 1934. Create one thing called Constituent Assembly. Finally, they agreed in 46. They set up one Constituent Assembly. Now, 47 pe India got independence. August 15, 1947. It was a very short timing for us. This much of time is not enough. Why? Because India is one of the vast countries. Back then. Today it is the only most populous country. Back then it is one of the most vast countries, and we had so much differences. So much differences means, let's say this one. Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, both were like considered. Jawaharlal Nehru became Prime Minister is because of backing of Mahatma Gandhi. History pe they will teach you. But they themselves didn't see eye to eye on many things. Nehru was a modernist. Gandhi was a traditionalist. Among their own Guru Shishya concept, only so much differences. Means imagine for Pura India how much differences was there. So much so that the very first question that came was, what should we call our country? Half of the Constituent Assembly sided with India. Because they told, we have been through a lot and we have persisted and we have been resilient. We should continue with that. The other half said, that is all your others, your foreign people gave us that name. Let us not stick to that name. Let's go with Bharat. Technically, both of theirs had solid viewpoints. But when it took for a voting, they were unable to decide because they were fighting that badly. Finally, in our constitution, because we could not decide on the name for India, we decided India, that is Bharat. So our country has two names. Just on this simple aspect only they fought this much. Means imagine for 395 articles, every single provision, how much they would have fought for. So December 1946 period of time, we didn't have enough time to prepare. What India asked was, 46 you have set this up. You do one thing. You delay the independence by a few years. Immediately you give us of all the power, but let it still be under your British dominion status. So we will be, because all important leaders are sitting in Constituent Assembly, making constitution for the country. If we have to do this work and also look after the nation, it is becoming difficult for us. British told, immediately I will give you the independence. Why? Because they had fear of Japan. So they set the date. 15th August 1947, you are getting independence whether you like it or not. The sad reality for our country is, Constituent Assembly was established, people sat to make constitution. After this is when we came to know of one thing. Partition is inevitable. Compulsory India will be partitioned. Bloodbath became too much. One of the worst forms of communal violence started. So, 14th August 1947, Pakistan got independence. How our country was divided means West Pakistan, India, East Pakistan. Until 1971, this is East Pakistan only. Only after 1971, it is Bangladesh. So the sad reality of our country is forest partition came before we got independence. Understanding? Now when these people, we got independence, partition also happened. Now again when they sat to make the constitution, it was not done. Like I told you, 395 provisions they had to discuss in detail. Everything they are fighting. It's not that they are just creating issues. They are trying to make sure this constitution is not for next 5 years or 10 years, but for the entire life of India. Lot of debates has to happen. So finally, India got independence in 47, but constitution was not ready. Somehow we were trying to do half and half works. Immediately we will just remove all the your repressive policies British had put. Okay, somehow we were just trying to move ahead. Finally, November 26, 1949, our constitution was completed. We finished. We sat in 1946 to make the constitution. Finally, November 26, 1949, we finished with the constitution. Let's say if 100 chapters are there in my constitution, 50 chapters, I took it here. Or the word we will use is 50 chapters, 100 chapters are not there. For example, I'm telling you. 26 November 1949, we adopted the constitution. Which means we told we have finished the constitution, we are going to adopt. But we are going to adopt half of it only. The remaining was adopted on January 26, 1950. But the word we will use here is Constitution came into force, which means January 26, 1950 onwards, India will run exactly like how it is written in Constitution. They could have did it then only, no? They already had full constitution ready. Why did they wait for this date? Means it is for this particular thing that happened. Something that happened 20 years ago. For the first time, one unified voice came from INC. That is INC means Indian National Congress. Not today's Indian National Congress. Back then Indian National Congress was something else. They told, we have one single objective which we are asking from all of Indians. We want Purna Swaraj, or what is the goal of India to British means we want complete independence from you. We do not want anything else from you. We do not want where outside affairs you will take after, inside affairs I will take after, because these are all the ideas British told. So on this date is when we gave the slogan that from 1930 India is Purna Swaraj or fully free. We were not, but we told it. It was symbolic message. To make that into reality, we picked this date. So 1950 January 26th onwards, India will be run only according to its constitution, which is why you celebrate Republic. Means my country is completely free from external influences. Entire country will be run according to my constitution. Understanding? Read on up until here, then I'll explain further. Half of the constitution adopted 26 November 1949. Remaining adopted 26 January 1950. Done? Shall we move ahead? So, 1950, January 26 onwards, Constitution, whatever it has told how India should be run, that is how India should be run. According to the Constitution, Indian Constitution was prepared keeping all our experiences in mind. We said, at least the Constitution told, there will be 3 bodies that I will create. In a personified sense, we can tell Constitution gave birth to 3 children or 3 organs. What are those means? Legislature, executive, and judiciary. Constitution gave birth to 3 organs: legislature, executive, judiciary. Clear up until here? Your legislature means this body will make laws for the country. Law-making body. Otherwise, this is where all your MPs and MLAs will come into picture. The executive is law implementing body. This is where your government or your executive means your ministers, your prime minister, council of ministers, union home minister, defense minister, whatever we tell, all these people will be called as executive. Okay. Then comes judiciary, who is the one who does dispute resolution and upholds the constitution. This is where your judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court, judges of District Court, all of these things come in. Dispute resolution means if these two fight or any 2 states fight, anything happens in here, they will go to that fellow to resolve their fights. Done? Now your constitution was very clever. It said no single one body is having more power over the other, which means all 3 have equal powers but in different fields. In lawmaking, neither executive should do that nor judiciary should do that. In law implementing, neither legislature nor judiciary should do that. In your upholding of constitution dispute resolution, neither you both should do it. Understanding? Or in here we will also include something called as validity of laws. No one is supposed to take other person's power. No one is supposed to become the supreme one or dominate the other 2. This principle is called as separation of powers. All 3 are equal. No one is above each other. And I have separated each of your powers to make sure none of you will try to dominate the other 2. Or no 2 will become one and dominate the third one. Understanding? Clear up until here? In this constitution only, we picked the model which will run our country is democracy. So when did India become, or when did India choose to become a democracy? Means 1950 onwards. Does it mean from 47 it was not democratic? I know it means formally we became from 1950. Done? In democracy also there is two types. Democracy pe there are two types: presidential form of democracy, parliamentary form of democracy. Both are democracy only but different way. What it is, I'll tell you right now. Done? Presidential form of democracy means, example is USA. Put a hyphen and write down if you want, or separately also write down. Presidential form of democracy, example USA. Parliamentary form of democracy, India. In our constitution itself, we told we will pick democracy. Which type of democracy? Means parliamentary form of democracy. Now the question comes as to why. Write down a question. Why did India pick parliamentary form of democracy? Why did India pick parliamentary form of democracy over presidential form of democracy? And I'll explain how these two countries operate. You will understand why we picked that. Have you heard of this name Donald Trump? He is the present US president. Okay. How presidential form, how USA that is your governance is there means they also have three things. Like how we have legislature, executive, judiciary, separation of powers is there in USA also. In our country, I told legislature ka name is nothing but your parliament or state legislature. Parliament means in the center, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. State legislature means your state legislative assembly. Like that, they also have a legislature. They also have an executive. They also have a judiciary. If you are to be called a democracy, you should have these three bodies. Okay. The name of our legislature, like we have three things. Legislature, executive, judiciary. Okay. We have three, they have three. The name of their legislature is called Congress. Understanding? The name of their legislature itself is called Congress. The name of our legislature is called as Parliament. Understanding? Understanding the difference? Don't understand Congress means here it is one party and all. It is what they call their legislature. And also, in this Congress, they have something called as two-party system. One is Republican Party, one is Democrats. India is a multi-party system, which means list will keep on going. BJP, JDS, Congress, all those things will keep on coming. Okay. So that's why multi-party. This doesn't matter. Now listen to this. Republican, Democrats, there is only two party. Members who will contest only from these two. Now today the US President guy I'm telling, no, that guy is of Republican candidate. Understanding? Here is where he will come in. President of United States of America. He is the symbolic head also. He is the real power also. When I was explaining constitutional monarchy, I told king or queen will just do that waving thing. They will tell, okay, you can come here. I will receive you. And he is the one who will set all the laws. Right here, both powers is given to this guy. Understanding? This is the president. He has the real powers in our country. In their country. Real power plus nominal power. Symbolic power also he has. Real power also he has. In our country, executive means there is one president also. Who is our president of India? This is nominal power. Okay. Then we have prime minister, who is the real power. Along with him, there is someone called as Council of Ministers. This is where your Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, all those will come in. Your Home Minister, Defense Minister, any minister is there, that fellow is all collectively put together and called Council of Ministers. Now understand this before we come there. How USA works means people are there, okay, normal citizens of USA. They will elect for, let's say they are in Michigan states. They have 50 states. In 50 states, they will elect their local electors. There they will call them as senators. Okay. The same people will again come to one more election where they will elect for who the president of United States will be. The people have to do two elections. One to elect their local senators. One more is to elect their president of USA. The people elected Donald Trump. Understanding? Now this Donald Trump has to run this country. Now he has to run this country means he also need ministers. But there they will not use the word ministers. For example, let's say I'm going to tell defense minister. Who is our defense minister? Rajnath Singh is our defense minister. But here what you will call them is Secretary of Defense. Understanding? Now who is our home minister? Amit Shah. Here they will be called as Secretary of State. Understanding? Powers are similar, just different names. Okay, doesn't matter. But here is the most important difference. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, like this, all the ministry. Okay, all the ministry, they will be called Secretary of so and so thing. All these people, how the president will pick means, he can either pick his fans or he can pick his family members or he can just pick people he likes. Okay. He can pick any random person there and he can tell you are Secretary of Defense. That person he has picked has no idea about what defense is, but he can still pick him and make him as Secretary of Defense. None of these people will be elected by people, nor are they picked by them. It is his discretion. Okay, discretion word I'm using means Any Tom, Dick and Harry he can pick and tell, you are secretary of so and so. Neither these people have control of them, nor the people have control of these people, because they never elected them. And these people also never picked them. Whomever he wants, he can put to those particular positions. Understanding? So here what will happen means the executive is totally dependent on President of United States. Understanding? So when this particular president, Donald Trump, picked his secretaries, people were commenting. So one wrestler has been made defense of secretary, one singer has been made secretary of state. So you are just picking random people and making them a secretary, and no one could do anything apart from mock him. Because legally he has not did anything wrong. That is their provision. Now let's come back to India. Have you all heard of Operation Sindoor? Aftermath of Pahalgam terror attack. After that, External Affairs Minister had to speak in your parliament. Tell all the members what happened. Defense Minister had to speak. Okay, every one of them had to speak as to what exactly did they do to these people. Or in simpler sense, I'll tell you how our parliament works. Our full country is divided into something called as constituencies. Pura country. This I'm talking about center. Okay. From each constituency, any number of people can contest in election. One person will win. Okay. So A, one from here, B, one from here, C, one from here. All of them are directly elected by people. All these one candidates, you will go put them in one house. Okay. That is your parliament. Parliament means both your Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Separate individual elections, how it will happen in detail later we will see. So a member who has won from a particular constituency is put into parliament, means he is called as member of parliament or MP. Understanding? Every single person sitting here has been elected by people. We have, let's say, 543 seats in Lok Sabha. Understanding? Rule of who will form the government means any particular party. In this case, let me take your BJP or your NDA, National Democratic Alliance. If they have to come to power, they have to secure 543 divided by 2 plus 1 seats. Minimum to minimum, somewhere 273 seats they have to secure. Let's say 273 seats they have secured. So this becomes the ruling party. Anyone apart from this party will be called opposition party. Okay, not just one party, it could be culmination of many parties. If it is not ruling party, it is called opposition party. This is ruling party. Now in this ruling party, what will happen means election has happened. One guy, big guy. This is president. The president saw the election results. This is the only party which has got 273 seats. It can be 273 plus. Minimum we need 273. He will go and he will ask this party to represent all of you, pick one leader from yours and give. Because I can't come to all 273 people and talk. Pick one person who can represent your party interest. They will pick one particular person. That person is the Prime Minister. Okay. Now this president will appoint the Prime Minister. Who appoints Prime Minister? President of India appoints Prime Minister. Now this president will ask the Prime Minister, now pick your government. That is, 273 people are there, but all 273 people you have one doesn't mean they will all come and run the government. By and max, pick 60 members in your own party only. Among this 273, pick 60 people. This 60 people will be called as, alongside PM, Council of Ministers. Okay. So this small chunk is what we call as executive. Aren't all of them elected by people? Yes or no? And one more rule in our particular country is this executive is always answerable to the legislature, not just ruling party. This plus this. Anywhere if you go wrong, if we don't like your behavior, we will withdraw the support. Which means if you fall less than 273, you are no longer Prime Minister, you are no longer Council of Ministers. Means the executive is answerable to the legislature. Executive is accountable to the legislature. Understanding? So this is parliamentary form. Here what will happen means whatever you do, they can't ask. Executive is not answerable to the legislature. Executive is not accountable to the legislature. Then why are they having this kind of system? The term usually in here is 4 years. US President can hold office 4 years. Here usually when we go technically, we tell it is they hold office during the pleasure of President, but usually the term is 5 years. But we have had certain central governments work only for 13 days. After that, they lost majority, they fell, again they had to go back to elections. So there is no continuity of policies here, and here stability is less. Stability is less, but accountability is most. 13 days, one fellow will tell one rule. After 13 days, one more fellow will come for 2 more years. He will run, he will create new rules. After that, another party will come for 3 more years. They will create some other rules. There is no one continuity at all in the country. Yes or no? But here what will happen means, no matter what happens, until and unless impeachment of president happens, 4 years there will be continuity of policies. What you do, that only will happen. Let's say president passes away, they have vice president to do that role. 4 years, pakka your policies will continue. So here, stability is highest. Accountability is low. See, in a democracy, there is no debate as to which is better. To a particular country, both are needed, stability and accountability. But there is no one system that gives us both stability and accountability. That is why we pick democracy as least worst. It is not addressing all our problems. It is giving us options. Do you want stability or accountability? Same question was asked in 1950. That is your 1946 to 49 period when we were making constitution. USA picked stability is because it was a growing country. It was developing very fast. For a developing country, immediately it was needing stability in policies. For them, that was perfect pick. But for India, which is a newborn country, technically India was born in 1947. For a newborn country, more than stability, we are not telling we don't want stability, but we want more accountability. And also one more thing is our past experience. The British were running the country in such a manner, the executives, whatever, that was your governor general, all the British people, they were the executives before independence. They had zero responsibility. The parliament was made with Indians. They kept on shouting, don't do this is bad, this is bad. But they couldn't do anything to the executives. They didn't like that. They said the people, elected people, should have the power. So that is why they picked accountability. For this reason, India picked parliamentary form of governance. USA picked presidential form of governance. Understanding? Whatever you understood, you write it down. Don't worry, this is not the end of it. Again, we will discuss in detail. Notes will be given to you. This is just introduction class. Write down.
Like you said, those 60 members legislators are elected by people. They can also be Rajya Sabha members.
Yes.
They are not.
They are indirectly elected. Indirectly elected by people only. Lok Sabha is direct election, Rajya Sabha is indirect election. But both are elected by people only. See, the reason I explain and tell you to write down is I can just give the notes, it will be easier. Mains pe, when you do answer writing, before every question we'll tell, create a summary build-up. Based on that, you write the answer, so you will have a flow. So if you have to do that, you have to have the practice somewhere. That is why I do this. Don't worry, after this I'll give notes also. Not on this topic, but in advanced classes. So don't worry about notes and all. Just you are learning to write from understanding, you are able to generate descriptive notes. If you don't tell me, I can scroll it up. Done. Your executive is answerable to the legislature. Executive, whatever decisions they make, they have to tell what and all did they do, why did they do. And like I told you, your Operation Sindur. Your executive did Operation Sindur. What did they do? What was the objective? Did we lose our planes? What was the cost? All of this they have to tell the parliament. But whereas USA, now let's say USA will go bomb Iran. It doesn't have to explain what did I use, how much casualties was there, how much money it costed USA. They don't have to tell anything. So this is called accountability. The executive is answerable for its action to legislature. Done? We'll move ahead. So we pick parliamentary form of democracy. Now the question will come in. Does it means whatever that was written in the constitution in 1950 is the same thing applicable in 2026 also? Because situation was different in 1950. Situation is not same in 2026. So here is where the concept will come. No. If you want to change some features in the constitution, you can change it, but you have to do amendment. If you are going to make changes to the constitution, it is called constitutional amendment. We have created this feature and given for you. But if you feel like you need some other features, you can amend the constitution and bring these changes. So much so that 1950, I told you, constitution came into power. Very first constitutional amendment was done in 1951 itself. 1 year also we didn't live. 1951 we brought in to implement land reforms. Now the question comes is, who can do the constitutional amendment, and if like that if you leave, they can change the entire constitution itself. This is where the constitution makers had planned something. See, I am writing these kind of words. You have to write full forms only, no short forms. The constitution makers wanted to, they were future thinking, because this one constitution has to be the rule book of our country. It told, see, we have to create a constitution in such a manner that it should be both flexible plus rigid. Okay, which means if at all there comes any change in the future, that time our constitution should change to the same level, means it should be able to bring in that feature. But at the same level, we should not make it so flexible that any particular government comes, they can keep changing whatever they want. So we have to be rigid plus flexible. Then they decided, how can we make it rigid plus flexible? If you want to make simple day-to-day laws, okay, you can just introduce with something they brought in, majority. If it is simple day-to-day laws, you can bring it with simple majority. Okay, simple majority means it is more than half of the members present and voting. No need to write down about the full forms. Okay, I'm explaining here, later we'll discuss in detail. Simple majority means more than 50% of the members present and voting on that given day. So your ruling party will pass it off in a simple hand click because it is just simple majority. Let's say if it is some important thing for like removal of speaker, removal of your chairman, that time you will go for something called as effective majority. Effective majority means you will remove the vacancies and the rest will be calculated for removal. Then comes something called as special majority. Special majority means 2/3 of the members present and voting plus half of the total membership of the house. This meaning is pretty much simple. If you have to make any changes like this, then you need both ruling party plus opposition party to vote, then only you can pass this. Despite the fact, let's assume your ruling party has 300 seats. Even if you have 200 seats or 300 seats, you still need opposition to vote alongside you to pass this bill. Majority is very high. Too much majority is needed to pass a bill like this. This is usually done for your constitutional amendment bills, which means just because a party has majority doesn't mean it can pass a constitutional amendment bill. It needs the support of opposition party, and opposition party cannot be easily bought off by the ruling party. Opposition party will raise issues as to this is the issue in this particular bill, right? So they will make sure that when ruling and opposition both are coming together and passing, that means it will be a high priority bill. And if they have to make them agree, it is no less feat. They have to make sure that particular bill is exceptionally good. It doesn't give any trouble to the people, and it will not give power to any ruling parties. Understanding? There is one more type of bill that is even more stronger. In the constitutional amendment bill only, if there is any provision that affects the states, then you need most complicated. Complicated means most majority is needed. What is that most majority? Already 2/3 of members present and voting plus 50% of the total membership of the house plus. Let's say I have 28 states in India. 15 states have to introduce this particular bill in their state legislature and pass that bill with simple majority. Understanding? That is the most highest number of majority that you will need. So anything that you are going to change in the constitution comes with very highest majorities. It is not easier to do. For example, your GST. Today what we have GST, they had to go through this as well as that. Understanding? So it is one of the most complicated process because of its highest majority involved. What the constitution makers thought was, for simple day-to-day laws, let it be flexible, simple majority. Ruling party can just pass it. But anything they're planning to do to the constitution, that time let's make it rigid. Understanding? Clear up until here? So Indian constitution is a blend of both flexible and rigid. Now I told you about your US constitution. No? US constitution is the most rigid constitution in the world. You cannot do the changes that easily. Understanding? India's constitution is a blend of rigidity plus flexibility. Write this down. I just need you to know that there are terms like this. You don't have to know what there is, but terms you have to know. Advanced classes we will be discussing in detail. Two-thirds of member present and voting plus 50% of the membership of the house is special majority.
The ruling party has, let's say, 1/3 of the membership. So even then, can they
plus 50% of the membership of the house.
Yeah, two-thirds of the parliament. That case, can this rigid? What is
No, because ratification is needed in more than 15 states, no? So in all 15 states, it is not sure that your parliament, that is ruling party, is having 15 states also.
But the second point, third point, special majority, two-third, which is also 50%. So
Huh.
2/3 is already more than 50%.
2/3 of the member present and voting, not 2/3 of the strength of the house. 2/3 of the members present and voting means, let's say, don't think 2/3 of the members present and voting means 2/3 of the membership of the house. Let's say a particular ruling party has 273 seats. In that particular day, only this many people decided to show up. The members don't have to be present every day for every session. Understanding? Only 75% of 273 showed up that day. Okay, and that too, it is from this party. But let's assume that day opposition is higher. Then they will become the higher chunk. This provision is not that easy to get your ruling party majority. Understanding? Clear up until here? So Constitution had created this scenario, which makes it very difficult to make changes to Constitution. This was how it was going up until one particular day. Before that, now let's say your Constitution is there, legislature, executive, judiciary. 3 organs are there, equal powers are given, and also one more thing is, all 3 of them are below Constitution. Constitution is at the top. Now either of them can tell, no, why should I listen that Constitution is the top? Why is Constitution the one who is giving me powers? How about I want to abolish this Constitution? Like this Nepal pay, it had happened. Nepal abolished its Constitution. It went on to create new Constitution. Like that, if India pe also scenario happens where they'll also think, I'll abolish this Constitution, create new Constitution. That provision is not possible even through a constitutional amendment. Because first and foremost, our Constitution told, I created these 3 organs. These 3 organs didn't create me. First thing. Second thing is, I get my power from the ultimate source. Let's assume Constitution is like a textbook. You have a lot of chapters in it, but first page will be like an index page. It will tell you what can you expect from this book. Like that, there is one index page for our Constitution. That is called as preamble. The first 3 words in the preamble tells what is the source of power to the Constitution. How is Constitution dictating legislature, executive, judiciary? Is because Constitution gets its power from these are the first 3 words in the preamble. We the people of India have given ourselves this Constitution. So this Constitution was created by people. People means not 1950 people or 1946 people, but the whole of people's interest is kept in mind and created this Constitution. So people is the ultimate head and authority. Neither legislature is above people, nor executive, nor judiciary. Understanding? The same preamble told what kind of country I want to create, or we call as nature of state. Okay, the nature of state India is going to be is so we the people means source of authority. What is the source of authority to Constitution? People. What is the kind or nature of state it is trying to create? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. What is the objectives? It has created this state for what? To give the people the preamble of our country contains 4 things. What is the source of authority to the Constitution? People. What is the type of country we are trying to create? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Through this, what are we trying to give to the people? Justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, dignity, and unity of people. And it contains fourth provision. What is the fourth provision? Means date of adoption, which means when did we adopt this constitution? 26th November 1949. These are the four elements that are there in the preamble. Understanding? Write this down. Then shall we move ahead? So, they thought about everything that can happen in the future, but they can't always predict everything in the future. They made a constitution which tells who is the ultimate power. Constitution cannot be replaced, but at the same point of time, if there is important provisions, you can bring that provision or you can amend the constitution. All this they told. So what happened was, now I will speak to you about something called as emergency. Constitution itself mentions something called as emergency provisions. If in case emergency happens in our country, what to do? In our constitution, there are three types of emergencies. National emergency, state emergency, or president's rule. Next is financial emergency. Article 352, Article 356, Article 360 pe we have mentioned about these kind of emergencies. Write down, then I'll explain what this is. Done. In the constitution itself, it has been told that in these articles, when and all can you impose this emergency? First of all, who can impose this emergency? Means it is President of India. Only he can impose the emergency. Okay. When can you impose national emergency? Means when there is a war or let's say armed rebellion or any internal disturbances, external threat. Now, when can you impose a president rule or a state emergency? Means when that particular state's law and order is broken down. You can't run that particular state anymore in the normal sense. Financial emergency means where it is impossible to carry out India or India's functioning with that particular financial distress. There is severe financial crisis that we have not been able to handle that situation. That time you can impose financial emergency. Done? Now listen to this. In reality, in our country, we have never imposed financial emergency. Not even once we have imposed. 1991, we had something called as BOP crisis, balance of payment crisis, but still we did not impose emergency. State emergency or president's rule. If there are, let's assume 28 states in India, all 28 states in their lifetime once at least has had president's rule. Very recent example, do you know about Manipur? Have you heard about Manipur? Manipur, there is lot of ethnic conflict. Manipur has two communities in it. One is called as Métis. They're more of tribal people. Okay, they are in majority. One more community is Kuki-Zo. That is minority community. Conflict between these two broke down so much so to an extent at that particular time. The chief minister is N. Biren Singh. He couldn't control the situation. They put president's rule in Manipur, which means usually Manipur would have been run by your N. Biren Singh, chief minister, but now it is not being able to run according to state. So center will control that particular area. Understanding? Until the situation is restored. Your state emergency or president rule is imposed a number of times. More than 100 times we can put that. Okay. Like I told, every state in India has had once or the other time president's rule imposed on it. Next is national emergency. National emergency is where we have declared it only 3 times. You have written down up until here. Now let's discuss about this national emergency. See, there is a reason why I am speaking about national emergency while we are discussing about your amendment of the constitution. We have imposed national emergency once in 1962 when we had Indo-China war. No criticism on this. War happened, so we had to declare it was fine. Second time we imposed was in 1971 for liberation of Bangladesh or your East Pakistan from this day gets to be called as Bangladesh. No issue in this also. The most controversial one was the 1976 emergency, which was imposed not because any country attacked us or we are getting involved in some other country. It was to tell within our country only there are so much disturbances, so I am trying to control it. Emergency was imposed on the grounds of internal disturbances. Now what happened here will showcase some important provisions. These two are national emergency on external grounds. This is national emergency on internal grounds. The Prime Minister at this point of time was Indira Gandhi. Understanding? Now in this particular period of time, I told you, emergency can be declared by whom? President of India alone can declare your emergency. That is constitutional provision. Understanding? Then there is Prime Minister, Council of Ministers. Then there will be normal parliament and everything. There is one provision, when you declare emergency, the executive gets severe amount of powers. Okay. Usually our constitution has mentioned we are a federal country. Federal country means we have center, we have states. Prime Minister also will be there, Chief Minister also will be there. In Karnataka means Karnataka affairs will be looked after by Chief Minister. Prime Minister for Pura India. Both of them has to live harmoniously with each other. But when you impose emergency, every single thing comes under the control of your center. By center, this person. Also, there is another provision in our constitution. Article 74. Article 74 tells that in our country, there will be something called as Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. The President will act. Okay, understand to this very clearly. President will act according to the aid and advice of COM. Here, when I am telling COM, it also means Prime Minister. He is also COM only, Council of Ministers only. Article 74 is telling President can do anything according to aid and advice of COM, and whatever they tell, that decision is binding on the President. Which means if President has to pick up pen and write something, if Prime Minister and COM tells do it, he has to do it. He can't tell, no, I don't like this decision. This is the constitutionally given provision. Understanding? But Constitution only told aid and advice of COM say you have to act. But the decision is binding was not written in Constitution. The Prime Minister, how it happened all here means, Prime Minister called the President, told impose emergency. President imposed emergency. After emergency was imposed, next day only your Council of Ministers came to know, oh, emergency is imposed. Understanding? First thing. Second thing, the Prime Minister, who is the law-making body in our country? Legislature, otherwise your Parliament. But when emergency is in picture, your executive can pass temporary laws. I told you one of the most difficult thing to pass is constitutional amendment. They passed amendments without even constitution being present, without even your parliament being present. Why? Emergency is there, no? If emergency is there, you can't bring all the members together. Immediately they will pass constitutional amendment of any doubts in polity subject today's class, any other queries you have, anything, online class, any queries, anything you do not understand? Okay, we've just written this, we have not discussed it. What it is, we will discuss in next class. Okay. No doubts, we'll end the session then.
We'll be dealing with polity and international election.
Yes.
So, like, how the classes will happen?
No.
Or
Polity IR class will not be mixed. It will be like separate subjects.
yeah,
GS paper 2 is one paper. Okay, it has both polity and IR, but polity will be done first, okay, with no relation to IR. IR will be started later with completely new topic.
governance and social justice is a part of polity.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah, same paper. That is separate subjects. Polity, we will do it as a separate subject. IR, separate subject. Governance, separate subject. Okay, we will treat it as a specific dedicated subject. Okay, it is of same paper. But we will treat it as separate subject because that will have separate way you have to study. The way you have to answer right is different. Now, for example, governance will a lot of schemes. Polity pay will not bring any schemes. Understanding? So the way of questions and the way we treat the subject itself is like a new separate whole subject. Okay. Any other doubts? Any other queries? We'll end the session. Online class.